Hey guys, so I'm starting a new series called Quarantine Horror Stories. This is the first of many. We'll be dropping a quarantine horror story once a week, every week until this national shutdown is gone. So, if we're going to be in quarantine, we might as well take this opportunity to listen to some horror quarantine stories. So sit back and relax. And this is episode 1. This one's called My Wife Is Not What I Thought She Was. Written by myself. I'm not going with Daddy Creeps anymore because my daughter hates it. So my new name that I'm going with is The Dark Diggler. So here we go, guys. So sit back, relax, and let's go. I'm writing my last message trapped in my basement. I'm terrified. It won't be long before that thing that used to be my wife comes down here and takes my life. Within the month of being quarantined with my wife, I learned the horrible truth of what she really is. I'm hoping once the quarantine is over, someone will find my notes and put an end to this monster once and for all. She wasn't always a monster. She was once a beautiful woman. 30 days into the quarantine, she changed into God knows what this thing is. Mary and I lived in a cottage house in the countryside. It was a small house, but we loved our simple country living. My drive to the office was 30 minutes. I was always home by 4:30 for dinner, and we would snuggle up on the sofa after dinner and watch our favorite TV shows. Mary only worked part-time as a nurse in the local ER. She worked maybe twice a week. She never wanted to work more than 2 nights a week. She claimed she didn't want to burn herself out. I could totally understand. Being a nurse is very stressful. The first case of the virus hit U.S. soil about 3 months after the first person in China decided to eat a raw bat. "Honey, oh my God, look! It's in the U.S. now," Mary said as she looked over to me with a concerned look on her face. I put my hand around her shoulder. "I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure they have it all under control." Mary gave me a slight smile. "Yeah, you're right. You know me. I'm such a worrywart." "Let's get some sleep, babe," I said as I pulled back the covers. "I love you, sweetie. I love you more," Mary answered as she snuggled up and buried her head in my chest. As the days went on, the virus spread like wildfire. The death toll began to rise, and our president declared a national emergency. I wasn't really concerned. In order to practice social distancing, my office decided we work from home. Mary continued to work twice a week at the hospital. She would come home exhausted, telling the horror stories of the hundreds of people showing up sick. One morning, Mary came home with a concerned look on her face. "Everything okay, babe?" I asked, with some reservation in my voice. "Yeah, babe. It's just they shutting down our hospital. We ran out of supplies, or we don't have the capacity to handle all of the sick people," she explained. "They're only keeping the doctors. The nursing staff will be furloughed until all this blows over." "I wouldn't worry, babe. I'm still working from home, and we should have enough money to get us by." I grabbed her chin and raised it up to my lips to kiss her. She quickly moved away and clasped her hands together. "That's not what I'm worried about, honey." "You know what? It's okay. Never mind, she said quickly. "You're right. Everything will be okay." I smiled and kissed her. "Breakfast is in the microwave. Eat up and get some sleep, babe." I walked out the kitchen to my office to start my workday. 2 weeks later, our state started a mandated hard shutdown. The virus was spiraling out of control. It was time to take drastic measures, more drastic than just social distancing. Hard shutdown for 2 weeks. No one can leave their house for any reason. We had more than enough food and supplies to last us for months. I was sort of a doomsday prep type person. I always bought in bulk, although it was just Mary and I. In the beginning, it was fine. Well, Mary was fine. She didn't show any signs of being stir crazy or even missing work. She did seem slightly tired, more than usual, but I chalked it up as being complacent and being stuck at home, not dealing with the hustle of everyday life. But the quarantine lasted more than 2 weeks. It went on for 2 months. After the first 2 weeks, things started to change. The first thing was Mary lost her appetite. I tried to make her favorite foods, but she didn't want any of it. It got so bad, the smell of food made her nauseous. She started to sleep more and more. She began to sleep 12 to 14 hours a day. At first, I thought maybe she had the virus. I called the local authorities and they informed me if Mary wasn't having trouble breathing or really in pain, not to take her to the hospital. So I decided I would do the best I can. One night, we were asleep. Mary began to scream in pain, moaning, grabbing her stomach. "It hurts! It hurts!" she yelled over and over again. I was frantic. I had no clue what to do. I went to pick her up to take her to the hospital and she screamed in pain. "Don't touch me! Leave me alone!" She began to throw wild punches at me. "Just get the hell out!" she yelled. I ran out the room and closed the door. The yelling and the agonizing moaning went on nonstop for the next 3 hours. Eventually it stopped, and I cracked the door open to see Mary buried under the quilt, fast asleep. I didn't want to wake her, so I let her sleep. I was up early the next day. I went into the bedroom and got a good look at Mary. She was changing. Her face looked drawn in. Her cheeks looked sunken into her face, and her eyeballs bulged out of her sockets. She lost a lot of her hair. She became abnormally thin, and I can see that most of her bones protruding from her skin. Her lips were so dry and cracked they began to bleed. Her teeth began to fall out, and the ones that didn't looked decayed and rotten. "Mary, I have to take you to the hospital now." "No," she yelled weakly. "That's not what I need." "Yes, Mary, you need a hospital." I put my hand on her shoulder and she felt cold and clammy. "This is not the virus. This is something else. More deadly." "I don't give a shit," I yelled. "I'm taking you now." I grabbed her arm and she let out a scream from the depths of hell. I took my hand away from her and began to cry. I decided I'll call 911 and have the paramedics pick her up. The phone was busy. I slammed my cell phone onto the table in disbelief. How the hell can 911 be busy, I thought to myself, as I paced back and forth. "Randy, please come," Mary yelled. "Yes, babe, I'm coming." I ran to the room. I sat on the edge of the bed. "I'm changing, Randy. I need meat. I need fresh meat to keep me alive. You don't understand what I am." I sat with a confused look on my face. "But baby, I've been cooking you meat and you won't eat it," I said, staring into her bugged eyes. "That's not the meat I need to keep me alive and to keep the transformation from becoming complete." "What the hell are you talking about, Mary?" "Just get me some fresh meat, please. I need it." Mary pleaded with me. Okay, I'll go." I jumped into the car. I didn't get far before I hit a roadblock and the National Guard pointed their guns at me, telling me to get back to my house or I'll be arrested. "My wife is sick and she needs help," I yelled. Poor choice of words. Living through a worldwide pandemic, the soldier really didn't want anything to do with me now. They fired a few warning shots and I got back into my car and drove home. I got to my bedroom and my wife looked horrible. She changed even more drastically within 15 minutes. Her fingers grew long and thin, and her nails were long and white and thick. Her ears grew long and pointy. Her torso looked elongated, and her feet tripled in size and shape. All of her teeth were gone now, but were replaced with longer, more sharper ones. Her eyes bugged out of her sockets even more now. Her nose grew abnormally big. With every move she made, I can hear the bones crack and her skin stretch. "Did you get the meat?" she asked in a dry, raspy voice. "No, the roads are blocked off." "Damn it, Randy, you don't understand. I need that meat." "Mary, what the fuck is going on?" "I need raw meat. At least twice a week to stop the transformation of my true self." My blood ran cold. "What's your true self?" I asked, and immediately regretted asking the question. "You'll find out soon if I don't eat fresh meat," Mary said, grabbing her stomach in pain. I was able to feed when I would work the night shift. I would hunt at night during work for the most part. I would feed from the recently deceased at the hospital, only the ones that died within the hour. I jumped off the bed and stumbled back. "What the fuck do you mean? You feed off of dead? You eat dead people?" "Yes. What I am, I must feed off human flesh. I only feed off dead flesh, but sometimes I do hunt the living as well. It keeps the transformation process from happening, like it is now." "What the fuck are you?" I said, sweating and heart pounding. "I'm a werewolf." "A what?" "You heard me the first time," Mary said coldly. "How is this possible? Why didn't you tell me?" "Look, Randy, that doesn't matter now. I love you, and I don't want to hurt you. I feed twice a week to keep from changing into a full wolf. I've been doing this my whole life. With this quarantine, I haven't been able to feed. Once I turn full wolf, there's no turning back. Please, you have to help me." "I can't help you. I won't help you kill any more people. I'll take my chances with what happens next, but I won't be involved with you feeding on another innocent person." Mary began to cry as she clutched her stomach. "I'm sorry, Randy. Maybe I should have told you, but I was happy, and as long as I feed, you wouldn't have to know. But I tell you this because I love you. You need to go now, because once I turn completely, I can't control the beast." "I'm not leaving, and besides, I can't leave. I told the soldiers you were sick. If they see me out again, I'm sure they'll shoot me," I said, holding a finger gun to my temple. "Randy, I haven't fed in 2 months. The change is almost complete. Please, you have to go. A bullet in the head would be much better than what the beast can do." She was cut short. Her bones began to shift and crack, as if her body structure was changing. With every crack, she howled in pain. I stood in horror. Her nose and jaw began to take the shape of a dog. Her teeth tripled in size and became jagged and sharp. Thick, spiky hair began to grow all over her body. She dropped down on all fours and began to scream in pain. Her hands and feet began to take the shape of huge paws. Blood and drool began to spray from her mouth whenever she yelled in pain. Her last words that I can make out was, "Get away!" Before long, my beautiful wife was gone, and a vile, ugly creature stood before me. The thing let out a loud howl before attacking me. It moved abnormally fast with its huge paws and sharp razor nails. It took a swipe and took a large piece of my arm with it. I screamed and ran out the room. In one step, the beast caught me from behind. It knocked me down. I fell on my stomach. It flipped me over on my back. It stood over me on all 4 legs. The drool from its mouth fell on my face. I opened my eyes to look at the creature, and for a second, I saw a glimmer of Mary. The beast hesitated for that split second, which gave me time to grab the piece of the broken table and jabbed it into the beast's neck. It howled in pain, and I was able to escape into the basement. I was able to barricade the door. It won't hold. That thing upstairs is bloodthirsty. I've lost a lot of blood, so I'm dizzy and feeling faint. It won't be long before it's able to break through and grab its meal. I can hear the wood cracking and breaking. I hope whoever finds this takes the message seriously and put an end to this monster once and for all. It's too late for me. Hopefully, I'll be its last meal.